Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Karina, Living Lean Six Sigma, and I don't know yet the title of this video, but I have questions that my younger self had that I wanted to ask my older self, and hopefully this would help any aspiring young engineers with answering some of their questions. So I remember when I was younger, God, why am I nervous? I'm nervous. So tell me about yourself. I'm Karina. I'm a student engineer. I'm also in the aviation industry, and I'm a retired Air Force veteran. What made you decide to choose engineering? I chose engineering as soon as I heard about it. In middle school, the most technical thing I knew of career-wise at the time was an architect. So up until middle school, actually even high school, even until high school, I thought I wanted to be an architect. But then once I discovered what engineering was, and we also did, I think, the Myers-Briggs personality type, or I started discovering more about my personality type, and it fits more with the career of an engineer. That's when I made my decision. Was in high school. I wanted to explore what was engineering, because it was this big idea and I had no idea what it meant. So what challenges have you experienced pursuing your degree? The degree is, it just is. I wish I understood the concept of, like, I would ask when I was interviewing other female engineers, is engineering hard? And I wish I understood it just is. It's your mindset that you bring. If it will determine, sorry, not if, it will determine if it is hard for you or not. And we've all done hard things, and some of us, learning to walk, that was very hard at the time. Our first day of school, some of you had a really easy time, some of us had a very hard time. We've all done hard things, and these are all just like stepping stones, in our life that I'm referring to, but we've all done hard things, and I accepted this as the next hard thing. I didn't take it as it's too hard, I can't do it. So one of my challenges was realizing my personal challenge. I could not take a full load of coursework and finish my degree in a reasonable amount of time. And so what I've been doing in lieu of that, and this makes me an ultra untraditional student, is just taking one class at a time. And I've been successful at that. And I've been passing my classes and really integrating the knowledge better than burning myself out, which I did when I was taking physics, which was 5 units at the time, chemistry, which was also 5 units at the time, and calculus, which was also 5 units at the time. That was 15 units for 3 classes, and I just couldn't sustain that, and I just wasn't a healthy person at the time. I didn't realize I had needed and wanted, and have gone through a lot of mental health difficulties, and I've come out the other side, or I'm coming through the other side on other things. And so long story short is I realized my shortcomings, and that was an obstacle in itself, because you don't know what you don't know, and I didn't know about mental health at the time. I was a 90s kid. We didn't talk about it then. But thank goodness for the military, and thank goodness for the VA, Veterans Affairs, for those of you who aren't from the US. It's been a blessing to have access to mental health, and in a way that's propelled my success to where I am today as a student. And I mean, those were my biggest obstacles. It was pretty much, realizing my shortcomings, finding another way. And it's still not okay to be this slow or this part-time of a part-time student. I cannot for the life of me get a scholarship because I don't qualify. I don't meet the minimum requirements. And that's okay. Like, that's on them. If they don't want to accept students like me who have challenges and are overcoming them, that's on them. It's not on me. So I understand I don't fit the mold, and I piss a lot of people off in the process too. That was another obstacle, is just me being me and me being where I am, whether it was in a class of, a whole bunch of males, or being the only female in a work environment, that pisses people off, and too bad. So Karina, you are in aerospace. That's a hard left. I don't understand. How did you go from engineering into aviation? What was that journey like? I was feeling stuck because I was not a successful full-time student or a successful part-time student. Before I joined the military, I was actually working for the family business full-time. And I was also trying to be a full-time student, and so I could get an athletic scholarship for track and field. And it was unsustainable for me. So I just refused to take out student loans. I was terrified of them at the time because I didn't understand finances and loans like I do now. And so my gal pal's mom told me an alternative. Why don't you join the military? And that was the light bulb moment. And I was scared. I didn't know what I was doing, in the sense of I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I didn't know what the military is about. It was just this mysterious entity, and you're just joining this organization, and it just sounds so big. And I went into the recruiter's office to do get some information gathering, and excuse me. It was really cool, actually. So I think there was 3 branches there at the time of the office I went to. It was Air Force, Army, and Navy. And so all 3 of them approached me and greeted me at the door, and I was a little overwhelmed, and because I went in by myself. I'm 23 at the time, and 22 at the time, and I walked into the recruiter's office, and the Air Force recruiter was a female, and one of them asked, "Hey, if you could join one of the branches, what would you be, or what would you want to do?" And I said, "I'm a student, and I want to get my degree in engineering." The other 2 kind of walked away, and then the Air Force recruiter kind of put her arm around my shoulder and said, "Come with me," and took me to her desk. And so that's how I joined and got started on joining the Air Force. And that's what led me to the aviation industry. I was able to complete, before getting out of the Air Force, my associate's degree that you can get while you're in the Air Force, and it's a specific degree. You can only get it while you're in. And I got one that's related to my job at the time. And so I have a CCAF, Community College of the Air Force, AAS, Associates of Applied Science degree. So that's how it was just low-hanging fruit. I was pursuing my engineering degree and taking classes. And then I went to the education office, and they said, "Hey, you're really close to your associate's degree." And I was like, "What associate's degree?" And they said, "Oh, you didn't know this. There's an associate's degree associated with your job, and you just need these three classes." And so while I was pursuing my engineering degree, I took those 3 classes off to the side of my engineering degree to complete that associate's degree. And then when I got out of the military, I'm still taking engineering courses. Gosh, I'm so nervous. I gotta start over. Okay. I joined Thomas Edison State University, and it's a very military-friendly school. When I had my transcripts reviewed and looked at the degrees available to me, I saw how close I was to another degree that wasn't engineering. It's called Aviation Maintenance bachelor's degree. And so I am completing that this year, 2021. And that's kind of how I got into the aviation industry. I joined the military. I'm pursuing these degrees in these in the field. But to also answer like the actual work application, after I got out of active duty and went reserve, I started looking for part-time jobs or full-time jobs to work while I was going to school, because you can only use the GI Bill when you are a part-time or full-time student. Let me take that back. You can use the GI Bill for whatever and whenever and for as little as much as you want, but to get your best bang for your buck, you would want to be full-time. And since I am not a successful student full-time, I don't use the GI Bill, so I pay out of pocket. Going back to the engineering degree, it's like I'm on my way to engineering degree, but then I'll do a sidestep and fulfill this requirements and get a degree. And then I'm pursuing my engineering degree, and then I see how close I am to another degree, and then it's like a side mission if you play video games. It's like I do this quest on the side. I think it's called side quest, quite literally. And then I complete that degree. So I'm still, the end goal is still engineering, but it's taken me this roundabout way. How did you get into the aviation industry? So I started looking for part-time or any kind of jobs that I would get paid well enough for in the civilian side. So that's how I started on the civilian side, getting in the aviation industry. So Karina, you work on drones. Please tell me more. Yes, I work on drones. I don't know how to start this. Here's another side note to my side note, right? I had left my last employment and quit. And in the meantime, on my way to quitting, I actually launched my own business. So I left and I started my business, and as I am doing my new career path, a headhuntress had called me, and I call it my genie moment, and she asked, "What do you want?" And this was like raw off of quitting. I was still emotional and upset. So I told her pretty much my 3 wishes. I don't remember the other 2 because years have passed now, but I was kind of along the lines of saying, like, I want them to listen to me. I want them to respect my Lean Six Sigma, continuous improvement, and I want them to be okay with all of the ideas and just me being awesome, and it's coming from a female. Like, I don't want a culture that's like misogynistic and sexist, something like that, right? Because I was just like sick and tired of it. And she was like, all right, well, you sound like a great fit, so let's put you in for an interview. And it was for this UAS maintenance company, and that's how I got into drones. But interestingly enough, when I was getting out of the reserve, sorry, I'm pointing my pen at you, I was actually looking to go to the Guard, because the Guard had Reapers and I think it was Global Hawks at the time, and it ended up being a good thing that I didn't get in, or the application process was stopped at the time, because that Guard unit ended up leaving my local base and went to another state. So I knew I wanted to get into drones when I was getting out of the reserves. I just didn't know how, and I assumed it was just going to be through the military. And I am so glad I'm out of the military, and I'm so glad I'm in this great work culture, great environment, tech advanced culture, loving, just accepting, and idea generating company, and I'm very, very happy there. And so I plan on staying, as long as I can, because it's really wonderful. And so I've been in this industry for specifically drones for 2 years. Yeah, it's been like 2 years now. How did you know? How did you know? How did you know anything? How did you know engineering? How did you know aviation? How did you know drones? How did you know? I chose the military, for an example, as an alternative to choices that were in front of me at the time. I did not know. I just felt the fear and did it anyway. So I had no one that I knew of at the time who's ever been in the military, no one's talked to me about the military, no one explained what the military was like, what the culture was like, what the workload was like, nothing. And I'm not afraid of work. I grew up in I call it like an immigrant family, because all my aunts and uncles were all immigrants. All the employees were immigrants for the most part. And so I had this immigrant mindset growing up, and it was very much suck it up, buttercup, get it done. And military loves that. So I had no problems with work ethic in the military. So how did I know to join the military? I was told at the time, take out loans, or my choice was to not go to school. And I knew I had to, I just felt it in my heart, I had to go to school. Sorry. I felt in my heart I had to go to school, I had to do engineering, and I chose option C. How did I know engineering? Again, I don't really know. It was just like, I knew I didn't want to be in business. I knew I didn't want to sit in the office and do monotonous things. I like the idea of prototyping, creating things. I like the creative stuff. I was not just STEM, but I was STEAM. I like the art aspect. I like the creativity. I knew I didn't want to do just crunching numbers, whether that was an actuary, tax person. I just knew I needed something more, and I needed some change, and that's my personality type. So I don't know, but some part of me did know, and I don't know how to explain that. That's a terrible excuse. Ugh, I'm sorry. But and then drones. How did I know to want to do drones? Again, like, I think, and some of you might not like this answer, that was intuitive. I was getting out of Air Force. I was getting out of the Air Force reserves, and at the air show, drones were there and things like that, and I knew I wanted to be a part of that. And I saw, drones were pretty much my job in a nutshell. It was just more compact. You just removed the human component of being a pilot, having space for humans to walk around in. It was just my systems compact, and I just jumped at the idea. I think that's great. So to be found the way I did, and to be working at the company I am, I think it's preparation meets opportunity. Like, I had completed, the aviation maintenance school program. I was planning at the time to, I'm currently in the middle of testing for my FAA A&P. These are certificates you need to be a licensed mechanic, unless you're working in a repair shop that has that certification and covers you for that. And so I just was ready. I did the hard work. I front loaded. It's hard to fail when you front load yourself with, you set yourself up for success. And since I did all the hard work, and I wasn't guided, like, I haven't seen a single person tell me how to do this. I haven't, you know, met someone, this is a new industry. And I think that's why I'm making this video, is to kind of send the message of like, it's okay to not know. It's okay to follow your gut. And, you know, when I was, you know, a 5-year-old in school, or however young you start school these days, if you asked kids my age then, what did you want to be? If you said the word drones, people wouldn't know what that was, because that didn't exist at the time. Not commercially household words you can say, I want to work on drones. Like, it existed, but the public didn't know about it. So I guess my message is, it's okay to have a general idea of how you want to be and feel and be seen as when you're being asked these questions. And it's okay to not know the specific answer, because technology is moving so fast now, it might not exist yet. I hope you enjoyed this Q&A between me, myself, and I hope it was entertaining. If you have any questions for me that you wanted to ask, please leave it in the comment section below. I would love to make a part 2. Something else was on my mind. Oh, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer here. Hormones. I had some dairy, and you know, my hormones didn't like it, so it happens. You're gonna have to deal with it. I already accepted it. I came on camera, didn't I? So yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna sign off. Thanks for watching me. I'm Karina, living Lean Six Sigma. Bye.